Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot for the ovations.
Yeah.
Well, it's the first time that we stand together on stage, right?
It is. It certainly is, yeah.
I'm really excited to see what we will be talking about today, because it's not scripted at all, so we are just trying to find out where the journey goes. So I already saw that many of the people here in the room know you, but I guess none of them know me, except the guys from Fast LTA. So I would like to start with a short introduction. My name is René Weber, and I'm responsible for the technical pre-sales at Fast LTA. Working for about 17 years now, or 18 years now for Fast LTA. So started in the server administration, did some of the development, did the servicing for the product. So I have a long journey behind me, and nowadays I'm working for the sales department because honestly, I know we got a sales guy here, and I'm sorry for that, but I realized that many problems that happen in service can already be prohibited when you do the sales correct. So my my passion is to do the perfect sizing, to see what product fits perfectly for the job to be done, and that is actually my passion, to do the right backup job. And also, to be honest, I'm the Veeam guy at Fast LTA. My passion is Veeam, because the first time I had Veeam in my hands and did some testing with it, I directly felt that this is a software that is easy to use, that does the job perfectly, and especially it is transparent. So you always got the feeling, or you always got the obvious feeling that everything that you do is correct, and that you will always be able to restore your data whenever you need it.
I'm going to pull up a chair and have you do the story, because that's exactly what it is.
That was just my view.
All right.
I hope your view is the same at the end.
Yeah.
So probably you can also introduce yourself, and then we see if we match.
Well, the only thing is different. That's the color of my shirt, of course.
Oh, by the way,
I didn't get a blue one. So
I'm really sorry for that. You know what? My colleagues always, when they go to a trade show, they come back and bring me all the Veeam gadgets.
Right.
So today in the morning, I had the choice to get this one here on, or to take on my Veeam shirt, my Veeam socks, and my Veeam hat.
Oh my gosh, wrong choice then.
True.
So, for those who don't know me, I'm Rob Turk. I'm a senior system engineer at Veeam. Compared to René, I'm a junior at Veeam, because I've been there for just over 5 years. Before that, I did spend a bit of time in the storage and data management industry. I see a lot of familiar faces, so that's good. Always interested in learning about new technologies, and I met Axel. Where is he? Over there. What was it? 4 years, 5 years ago?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Right, at a Veeam on tour. And we have been in touch ever since. So we have common customers. As René already said, Veeam and Fast LTA, it works great. Great combination. It's simple on both sides, both the software and the hardware. It just works. So that's a little bit about me.
Perfect. So probably just take one step back and have the focus on the companies itself, because actually when I think back, take one step back, probably when I think back to how the relationship between Fast LTA and Veeam started, it was straight in the beginning. We've been to the CeBIT in Germany. I guess most of you know the CeBIT as the biggest trade show. And we had a booth, and we presented our silent brick system proudly and said, this is the new shit. Sorry. And directly opposite of us, there were these people in green color, and they sold some backup software. And I had my first touch with Veeam, and we discussed about it. They showed me how the software works. And to be honest, in my history, at around the year 2000, when I started, besides my school, to do my first IT jobs, I had to work a lot with backup exec. Whoa, that was really hard, because you never had a transparency of what you're actually doing. You were always praying and hoping that everything works the way that you expect it to work. And when I first saw Veeam, which was quite easy, you set it up, it took about 5 minutes and everything was configured, I was amazed. And then your guys on the CeBIT, they told me what their philosophy is, to make it easy, to make it more transparent, to just give the customer the confidence that everything is working, to have a zero loss, to have a zero trust technology, to make everything very secure, and I felt like this is a perfect match because we do exactly the same, but in hardware. You only do it in software. Yeah. Then my first question was, what hardware do you sell? You said none, or you guys said none. I said, that's perfect. So we can place our product in the market, and that is how we started back then.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, and we, from a software perspective, we try to be hardware agnostic, but obviously it works better with some than it does with others. You can go to, for the Dutch people, MediaMarkt and get yourself a server, and it will run just fine. We prefer some professionals behind it, and an organization with good service. When René met our people at Veeam, one of the guys there was, I think you met Anton, right?
As well, yep.
Yeah?
Right.
Anybody of you ever heard the name Anton Gostev? I see a couple of hands. If you've ever been to the Veeam forums where there's a lot of discussion going on, Anton Gostev is our chief product officer. You got like the product managers, then you got another layer of managers, and then you got Anton right here. And he is very strong-headed when it comes to opinions. It's either right or it's wrong. He actually went up to the booth with Fast LTA, and he literally said, this is the iPhone of backup storage, because it just works, it's simple, it's very understandable, it's modular, go for it.
That's and it offers everything, actually.
Yeah.
It offers everything. And that is actually what then followed up, that we visited a lot of Veeam on tours in Germany, in Benelux, showing our products, working together. We had a lot of time slots in front to tell the people what we are using here. And that one special day, that is something that I just remembered I want to share with you. Yep. We created this green silent brick, because actually when I get a customer call, they ask me, okay, do you also support Veeam? My first answer is, 11 out of 10 customers use Veeam, so yes, we do.
Look at the color.
Perfect match,
right?
And then we came to the Veeam on tour, and we had this brick in our hands and said, hey, have a look, this is green color now, because most of our customers are Veeam. In matters of customers, we're talking about 900 customers at the moment that are using Veeam. Because as Axel said before, 1,000 customers, 900 of them are using backup, and it's around 900 of them that are using Veeam, because Veeam is just distributed everywhere. So we went to the Veeam on tour, we said we have a green brick now, and your colleague, I can't remember the name unfortunately, he was the speaker at the Veeam tour.
Oh, well, could have been one of many.
Doesn't matter. He took the brick from us, said, I will bring it back. He went to the front of the stage, and with his first words he said, I proudly present the first Veeam hardware product. And we were so proud. The same like when Anton Gostev wrote this information with the iPhone of air-gapped storage in his newsletter. Is always I get a goose skin, because it's really something that makes me extremely proud. And I also think that the combination of both products are great, because, as I already said, it's zero trust philosophy on your side.
It is.
And zero loss on our side, so the combination is great. But that was the step back. Let's take a look into the future. What are the challenges that your customers are facing at the moment, or what do you think that will come down the road?
Well, you know, I'm sure you've all noticed that in the last couple of years, ransomware has become a big issue. And what you see is that the way of making backups, but also especially restores, has changed. It used to be that you had to restore a couple of files, or you had to restore a VM or 2 VMs, or maybe a physical machine. And with just bulky disks, that went fine. But we've had the time frame when everybody was trying to like deduplicate everything. Who's got deduplication equipment? None. Oh, one or two. Okay. What you see with deduplication equipment, you see that hard drives are being. The goal is to have as few hard disks as possible to save on hard disk cost. And what you do is you exchange compute cost for hard disk cost, and that made sense when hard disk space capacity was very expensive. It doesn't anymore. And there's another problem with that approach. Every hard disk has actually 2 characteristics. It has capacity, but it also has performance. And performance is getting a big issue, especially with bulk restores. If you need to now restore 100 virtual machines, or 200, or 1,000, how are you going to do that when it has to come out of 12 little disks? That's a huge problem these days. So what we see going forward is that you will need a lot more performance from your backup repositories. You really need to rely on those to help you when you need your data most. So that's something that I really see happening. Mm-hmm. And then also in the security space, we all have daily threads to our data. You want to be on top of that. So besides just making a backup, you also want to be able to scan your data while it's being backed up. And you have to be able to find those threads and find those pieces of malware that are already in there. All of that, you don't want your production systems to be occupied doing that. You want your backup system to do that. And that's why you need performance.
That matches my experience, because actually when you have a look at all the studies, there's a study from you guys, there's a study from Sophos, there's a study from IBM. Mm-hmm. You can see that around 96% of all attacks nowadays focus on the backup first. 96% of all cyber attacks focus on the backup. Why is it like this? That's quite easy, because cyber attacks and ransomware is not just a threat that is distributed anymore, but it's a business case. So the guy on the other side wants to gain money. And you cannot gain money if somebody has a valid backup strategy, so you try to replace or destroy the backup itself so that he cannot recover anymore. That is a very, very valid problem. And the IBM study that I saw says that around 45% in the last year, 45% of all companies worldwide were attacked by a cyber attack or by ransomware. And that means that 45% of all companies need a secured backup, because otherwise they cannot recover anymore and they have to pay money or they have to shut down the company. And that is a very, very big problem. And by the way, the average cost was 2.38 million per company, average cost worldwide. Yep. And that is something that I think you guys are also inventing new features, especially in the security sector, as you just said, mm-hmm. to analyze the backup files, especially when you got a ransomware attack. You need to do forensic, you need to restore backups of different days, you need to look inside, you need to use these, I heard these JARA rules are existing.
Yep.
That's quite new, right?
It is. When you look at the threat protection, it's actually multiple steps. You take steps before you get hit, you take steps when you get hit, and you take steps after you get hit. But you will get hit at some point in time. So you see that there's a more load on those systems, and especially on backup repositories every day. As René mentioned, the JARA rules, that's something that comes in at the last step. If you does anybody know what a JARA rule is? Has anybody seen one? Has anybody developed one?
Developed?
No? Okay. Basically, it's a search engine on steroids. That's the quick thing. If you ever get hit by ransomware, the first thing you do is you pick up the phone to a security company and ask them, please tell me what I got hit by. And they will identify you got hit by ransomware X. Then you need to restore, and you need high performance to be able to restore, but you don't restore directly to your production environment, because that same malware may still be in there. So you want to filter that. That's one of the features that Veeam has, is we can do a staged and secure restore. So you first go to a holding area. There you can scan, and then you can continue on to production if it's clean. However, that scan, you can do that with a traditional virus scanner. Has anybody ever tried doing that on like a terabyte VM and timed it? I've seen customers who did the calculation and said, okay, we'll be back up in 3 weeks. Not good. So when you know what ransomware you were hit by, it's much better to have a specific search engine. And JARA rules is exactly what that does. It will allow you to very specifically search for a pattern that identifies that particular malware. And that speeds up your recovery time by, well, a number of times. So that really helps.
These are great features.
Yeah,
it's really amazing. But
it is.
You will need more performance in the backup storage in the future, especially since data is also growing. And my suggestion is always to not focus on the backup, but focus on the restore. Because I got many customers, as you just said before here, that tell me we got a DDoP appliance, everything was fine, we got a ratio of 900 to 1, so we have, I don't know how many petabytes, and it's just 5 megabytes. Okay, that is a little bit extreme. And everything was fine, and then we tried to do a restore, and we realized, wow, it takes 2.5 months. That doesn't make sense. And whenever it comes to inline search, to Java rules, to instant recoveries, that also takes time. So always focus on the recovery of the data, make sure that the recovery is fast enough, because the data will come to the system then fast enough as well. But to have a fast recovery and to use all these modern features in order to avoid security problems, to make your data immutable, to have it recoverable at the time that is needed, RPO, RTO topics, it is important to increase the performance of the whole system in the backup layer. And for growing data, it is even more important to also be able to restore the data in a certain time. And when thinking about this, in many cases, cloud technology is probably not the right thing. DDoP applications or appliances are, in most cases, not the right thing. It's always down to having a high-performant backup storage, which is also capable of building up multiple stages, not only the high performance, but also the long-term performance, capacity optimized and price optimized part. And I think that brings us to the next level and to the question, how can we speed up everything?
Right. Well, an example would be when we first started working together, we had a single stream going to your device, and that limited our ability to get right performance out of you. Now, with the introduction of, for instance, S3 technology, but also our scale-out backup repository technology, we can actually make parallel streams to the repository, and that speeds up your performance tremendously. Also, we have a philosophy that with a scale-out backup repository, we differentiate between what the data that you want to restore and the data that you must be able to restore. Those are two separate things. What you want to restore needs to be right at your production system. You need it really quick. Everything that's older, but you need to keep for compliance or anything like that. If you want to put that on a DDoP appliance, fine. If you want to store that in the cloud, sure, no problem at all. There's cases where the cloud can help as well in fast recovery in some cases. I'll talk about that, but that's beyond the scope of this discussion. Get yourself a really fast device right next to your production system so you can restore real fast what you had yesterday or an hour ago.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot. I think from the software perspective, that was very impressive and very interesting. I'm still a Veeam fan, so you made everything right.
Thank you.
And we will meet later again in the hands-on session. We will have another topic where you have more information about Veeam and the features.
Yep.
And we have a deeper look into this.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for Fast LTA and Comex to have me on stage.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
So, yeah, we're either right.